Hello and welcome to today's video where we'll be sharing about some of the important lessons learned from the Next.js conference that happened in 2024. So let's get started. Some of the key lessons learned from the opening video of the Next.js conference, which was fantastic, were first of all, it was adapt to make it work, make it right, and make it fast philosophy, which was shared by the CEO of Word. And some of the other highlights was embrace progressive disclosure to manage complexity. And lastly, it was to prioritize developer experience with efficient tooling and feedback. Getting a bit of ideas about the philosophy of adopt, make it work, make it right, and make it fast philosophy, which surely emphasizes on a phase development mindset, like having a functional solution at first and then refining it to enhance usability and reliability, and finally, optimizing its performance. Each phase of this has a value which prevents some premature optimization and encourages incremental progress. Likewise, the other lesson learned was to embrace progressive disclosure to manage complexity. In the event, it was highlighted that the value of progressive disclosure of complexity, which allows the developers to handle only essential complexity firsthand when needed, and it reducing the overwhelming that the developer faces. For instance, for any project, especially some complex projects that we build apps around it, which has a layered complexity in our mind, offering advanced options only as the project grows. So, keeping this strategy in mind help us to keep tools accessible to beginners but also for seasonal users as well. Last lesson, which was to prioritize experience with efficient tooling and feedback. Of course, the Next.js team improvements and highlights the improvements of error handling, and they have brought an improvement on the turbo pack performance, which reflect their commitment to speed and usability, which is crucial for developer productivity as it is one of the greatest framework. Using fast responsive tooling and clear error feedback at the end of the day reduces both user and developer frustrations and increases efficiency, especially while creating large and complex projects. So prioritizing a good experience both for the users and the developers in hand makes it a lot easier while making any project. So with these key lessons learned, I came up with an ideation process which could be reflected from the Next.js conference. So some of the key steps for a project development, whether that be in the web or the Android app spaces or the iPhone app spaces. And the first step is to make it work, which main objective is to create a minimal viable product that functions at basic levels, where we focuses more on like the functional setup and the essential features without focusing much on a polish or performance side of things. So some of the key actions here includes like outlining the core functionality that is required for the app and implement a simple but robust setup that achieves the primary function. Likewise, we also focus more on keeping the UI UX simple and clean over the aesthetics side of development. Finally, documenting some of the essentials operations, making it easy for initial users and collaborators to understand and make it test to receive feedbacks. Likewise, on the next step, which is to make it right. So the objective here would be to refine the product, to enhance usability, reliability, and code quality, focusing more on user experience improvements, code cleanups, and adding any usability issues where we focus our key actions on like identifying pain points in the and making any adjustments based on any user feedback and testing. We improve error handling, introduce like meaningful validations and refine navigations, update documentation to reflect these changes, and add any testing layers to ensure stability and reliability. On to our third stage, which is to make it fast, where we focus more on optimizing the code for app performance and scalability, and focus more on like speed, efficiency, and readiness for large scale usage. Some of the key actions here, it's like analyzing app performance and optimizing for efficiency, implement any caching and other performance improvements, and optimize any database queries, reduce load times, ensuring a smooth handling of large database or traffics. And likewise, we prepare it for deployment and configurations for optimized production environment. And finally, it's about iterating these steps and improving on real-time customer feedbacks on the production levels and keep leveling up. Behind the scenes, I also did a quick SWOT analysis of our project development steps. So, starting with the strengths, it provides a pretty much structured development process, breaking the steps down to make it work right and fast, ensuring an organized approach. Likewise, it reduces complexity overload, like progressive disclosures of like more approachable learning curve for developers, allowing them to focus on more core tasks without any distractions. So that's really cool about that. It's scalable and flexible. So this method really adapts well as we grow our project, handling both simple and complex project both by introducing complex things when only needed. Likewise, some of the trade-offs and the weaknesses are like we have an initial limitation in functionality, keeping on with make it work phrase, which might produce only a basic or minimal viable product, which lacks polish product, which could potentially lead to a negative first impression if user expect more polished interface. Likewise, there is a dependency on iterative feedback. So progress does require like constant feedback loops, which can be challenging environments where dedicated testers without any dedicated testers or active user feedback channels. And likewise, there's also an opportunity for it. Like it surely helps and improve collaborations and contribution, as this philosophy is an inviting approach for open source contributors, which open the doors for developers having different level of expertise that can work together within the framework by focusing on phases they are more skilled in, and there's also a flexible adaptation across teams. So other teams within an organization can easily adopt the framework from their own development process, reinforcing cohesive approach across multiple projects. Some potential threats that which we could think of is like risk of partial implementation, such as some teams may stop after using or may stop after the make it work phase if there is a lack of resources or time constraint, resulting in an unoptimized product. Likewise, there could be a complexity creep, as a bit of complexity do arise once project starts developing. There's a chance that overlooked foundation issues could create any technical depth later on. So some of the brief SWOT analysis which I thought of could be helpful on the project development stage that we just discussed. So thank you very much for your time. And if you want to read a bit more in detail, visit my website blog section and you'll find more details about it.